On November 20th, 2020, I uploaded my first ever scripted speedrun related video titled, "Is this Super Mario Bros. Speedrun World Record iconic?" And when I put this out, I wasn't really expecting too much, at least long term, but it got a little bit of attention, so I decided to keep going and going, and over a year later, on December 11th, 2021, I ended up hitting 10,000 subscribers. That's just crazy to me. That's not even something that I thought about when I made that first video. So, I don't know how many times I can say thank you or, whatever, but I feel the least I can do is make something special for you guys, at least try to do a little bit something here. So here's the promised 10,000 subscriber Q&A. I gathered around 30 questions that were sent in, and I broke them up into 3 categories: general, speedrunning, and YouTube/content creation. It was kind of hard to put that last one together. For once, this video will be pretty unscripted. I want this to be pretty raw. I just want to talk to you all straightforward and just maybe let you guys know who I am a bit more. So the first question is from WL, who asks, favorite video game of all time? I kinda hate questions like this, because I really don't think I can pick one, so I'm gonna pick 2 games that are very notable to me. The first one is Mario Kart Wii. When I was younger, I grew up with one of those generic Windows XP desktop towers for a while, so I didn't really get into console gaming at all until the Wii. So Mario Kart Wii was like the first proper console video game I ever played, because before that I only played classic Newgrounds Flash games, whatever. So I ended up playing Mario Kart Wii like crazy all the time. It was the only thing I played after school all day, and I really wish I had my original Wii to see the total amount of hours on it for the playtime. I'm pretty sure you can check that somewhere. If that was the case, I could tell you for a fact right now that I've probably played Mario Kart Wii over the past decade or so for probably thousands of hours if you had to total it up. I don't play the game as much anymore. I still go back to it every few months or so, but I used to play it religiously every day when I was in elementary school and even early middle school. So yeah, that's definitely my childhood. Secondly, if I had to pick a second game based off my speedrunning background, I would easily have to say Super Mario World. It's probably my most played game ever, between speedrunning it, casually playing it, and if you include me playing ROM hacks of the game, god, that number probably goes up drastically. So Mario World's always had kind of a connection to me. I didn't end up owning a Super Nintendo, or the original game, until around 2015 when I started speedrunning, but I do remember playing it on emulator on computer when I was younger, and I've always just had a special connection to the game. It's by far my most favorite Mario game by far, and I don't think that will ever change. And that's a perfect segue to the next question, actually, because Sojok, I hope I pronounced that correctly. I really hope I don't butcher names. But anyways, they ask, what is your least favorite Mario game? And that's another kind of question I hate answering, to be honest. Especially with a series like Mario, if we're talking the mainline Mario series, that's by far my most cherished series of video games of all time. So I really don't know if I could pick a least favorite. I mean, I could at least tell you games that I haven't played as much. I will say I'm personally more of a 2D player instead of a 3D. So, I'm gonna personally tell you right now, I have not beaten Mario 64, and I've never played Mario Sunshine. I know people will hate me for that. That's something that I do want to fix eventually. But, yeah, I don't think I can answer least favorite. That's just something I can't do. I'm sorry. The next question comes from Lich King, who's asking if they're able to see the face behind the magic. And at first I thought this question was really weird, but then I thought about it, and I thought, well, a lot of my followers, or my subscribers on YouTube, are pretty new and pretty recent. So if you only follow me on YouTube, you probably really haven't seen my face. If you haven't checked my older content or done any deep dives on me, you probably haven't seen my face. So here you go. I apologize if I look horrible or my room looks like a mess or whatever. I've been sick off and on the past week or so, dealing with the fun thing that is the pandemic sadly became a part of that. Yeah, here I am. And that's actually a perfect plug, too, is that if you do want to see more of my face, I guess, or get to know me more, I guess I'll plug it quickly, too. I do have other social medias. Every link will be in the description, and on screen. I guess I'll put it on the screen, too. I have a Twitter, at Storster with an extra R. I put announcements for everything there, and I also just, generally talk about my life on there. I also have Twitch, where I live stream. I do a lot of speedruns. I will play a bunch of random games or ROM hacks. We have a lot of fun over there. I've had thoughts of switching over to YouTube Gaming or something different, but that's a discussion for another time. For the meantime, right now, if you want to follow me on Twitch for live streams, go do that. Same username, Storster. And then, probably the most important one, I would say, is my Discord server. It doesn't get used as much as I would like it to, but I like to try to maybe use it more. So if you want to join, feel free. The link's on the screen. If you want an easy link, I'll put it down in the description. Yeah. So, here I am. I'm not sure what you expected. Next question is by Twice Light, who asks, favorite musical artist? Easily by far, especially over the past couple years, I would say is Juice WRLD. My general taste leans towards hip-hop, rap, that kind of scene anyways. That's definitely it by far. And actually going back to my face cam here, I didn't even intentionally plan this, but I am wearing a Juice WRLD shirt, so there you go. But if you want to know other musical things that I've been listening to lately, probably two projects that I've been listening to for a little bit recently is Little Sims had an album come out from the past few months. I just started listening to that. And then also m&ms 2.5 EP. Charmander is a really good song I recommend listening to. That's been stuck in my head for the past week. So yeah, there you go. Judge me, hate me based off those names. Anyways, a question I got from a couple people was asking about my channel's name. Helicopter and Carla Castro both asked, where'd my name come from? How did I choose it? I've had a few different usernames over the years, and they've been pretty uncreative. They usually have just incorporated my name, Patrick. You can find my old channels out there, but I wanted something more original. So what I was doing was, I'm pretty sure I was literally on Google Translate or some dictionary kind of site, and I was going through different foreign languages and just finding really short words in different languages that I could combine together. So I'm gonna probably upset one or two people out there that may know the languages, but I can't even think of it. But I know store and stir are words in different languages, and if I remember their translations, it roughly translates to big or large star. I thought that was kind of cool. I wanted a short and unique username that sounded cool, but also had some kind of extra meaning to it. I forget the exact languages where it originates from. I'm pretty sure some Scandinavian language like Swedish or Dutch or somewhere in that region. Somebody from that region will probably watch this and correct me or tell me. But yeah, I really just wanted an original username, so I just combined random foreign words, and that's how I got Storster, and I'm pretty happy with it. Mobile Clopper asked, in which game have you spent an absurdly high amount of hours in, and are you still enjoying it? I think going back to one of the questions I had earlier, the two games that I really spent a lot of time in would be Mario Kart Wii and Super Mario World. Mario Kart Wii, like before, I haven't really played that much in a bit. I've kind of moved on from, I wouldn't say moved on from Mario Kart games, but I just don't play them as much anymore. I still love the games. I'll still play them casually here and there. But between school and work and my video stuff and speedrunning and everything, I just haven't had as much time to play some of those casual games. But Super Mario World, though, I've still been playing a lot of that, whether it's the original or ROM hacks, and I'm still very much enjoying that. Lately, I've been streaming a lot of Mario World ROM hacks on my Twitch, actually, so that should prove that I'm still enjoying that. In terms of, PC stuff, I've always wanted to get into PC gaming more, but I've just been busy with so much other stuff, so maybe if you have some, suggestions, let me know. And then the last question I have in the general category is from Edible Pie, who says, how did your channel get so big? and I really wish I could tell you. I don't really know. I don't know if I'd even say my channel's big yet. I mean, you know, I'm trying to be humble, but, you know, there's definitely a lot of bigger YouTubers out there, even in just the speedrun community. I'm very grateful that it's grown this fast, and it's really not something that I ever thought of. I've been doing different types of video stuff for a while now, so the fact that I finally got something that had a bit of attention to it is just kind of crazy to me. But no, I'm very happy, so I don't really have an answer to that. Let me know what you think. The next category I have for questions is just under the category of speedrunning. Paul first asked, how do you say your channel name? Storster. But more importantly, they asked me, what's a speedrun that I've wanted to learn but haven't learned yet? Ooh, that's a hard one. I guess an easy one I would say off the bat, primarily speedrunning Super Mario World. I've wanted to speedrun different Mario games in the series, but I just haven't gotten around. I've had some decent interest in maybe trying to somewhat seriously speedrun some of the new Super Mario Bros. Games. I have really casual times in DS and Wii, but I've never gotten like a really respectable time in the games, so that's something that I thought about getting better at. Besides that, maybe some of the other retro Mario games. But yeah, outside of Mario, I'm not really sure. I mean, there's always like random joke speedruns that I've thought of doing that I never do, but I can't really think of specific names right now. For every speedrun that I've actually done, there's probably 10 or 20 different runs that I've thought about doing that I've never done. The next question is from Jules, who asks, what would you like to see in speedrunning, either through professional recognition or community-based? Oh, that's quite a loaded one. I don't know if that's something that I could really directly answer. I mean, honestly, I'm already really happy with how things have already been. I feel like, especially when I first started, and my production was a lot more rough, and it was kind of hard. I definitely struggled with a lot of the criticism I got at the beginning. It was very fair criticism. I think my content's gotten a lot better, and there's still a lot of room for improvement. Like, for example, I want to get a better microphone eventually. I know people complain about the microphone quality every so often. I've been trying to do my best with what I've worked with. Definitely within the next, 3 or 4 months, I definitely want to try to upgrade my setup. Money is sadly a thing, so I'm trying to kind of keep that in mind. But no, I think I'm already really happy with how things have been going. Pretty much every video I've made so far, every single video I've made a topic on, at least recently, I've gotten really solid recognition. For example, Mario Land 2, Controller Head, like a really old runner who has been fairly inactive recently, he kind of came out of the grave after my video just to like appreciate it and say thank you, and he had a chat with me on Discord, and it was just really cool to see that kind of stuff happen. And even very recently too, I had on my bootleg games video, there were a couple different people from some of the games, some of the record holders in those videos. I never actually talked to them beforehand because I thought it was either that the information wasn't really deep enough for me to have to contact them, or I just didn't think it was really necessary to reach out to them before. They ended up randomly finding my video and commenting and going out of their way to appreciate the video. So honestly, I'm already happy with where I am in terms of recognition. Obviously, it'd be cool to grow and get even bigger, so I guess we'll just see where it goes. But with how I am right now, I am very satisfied. And Jules actually asked a second question, which was, do you think with speedrunning becoming more and more popular / mainstream, will game developers be less likely to patch bugs and exploits that don't break the casual experience? That's a tough one. I can't think of specific examples right now, but I'm pretty positive that there's 2 or 3 PC / Steam games that have kept the speedrun community in mind in terms of updates and stuff. I can't think right now, but it's definitely a possibility. It's kind of a weird topic in speedrunning about running different versions and stuff like that. I've actually thought about making a video just on that concept. Let me know if you want me to do that. But yeah, no, that's a really good question to think about, and that's really an answer that I feel like could change over time. That's not really something that is really I can't really give a solid answer. Fallkite asked, what games do you speedrun, and what are your PBs? So at this point, you probably obviously know that I have speedrun Super Mario World, and I've speedrun a lot of different games. I don't think that was the only person that actually asked that kind of question too. Yeah, it looks like Omri also asked, what games do I speedrun? Yeah, actually on screen, I'm going to show footage of me scrolling through my speedrun.com page, showing every single run that I've ever done, and there's quite a lot on there. It's a hefty list. Definitely a lot of those games on there aren't too serious, but you know, that's a fun part of speedrunning. It's not like speedrunning has to always be some serious grind. You know, sometimes you can have fun. Sometimes, you know, notoriously, some of the longer viewers may know about, you know, my m&ms kart racing saga kind of deal, where I made an April Fool's video, an entire hour-long video about it. And fun fact, that will probably not be my last video on the game. That's been a fun joke speedrun to go down. But no, there's been a lot of different stuff over the years. That kind of also ties into another question I got from Adam Gatt, which is, what is your personal favorite speedrun? Obviously, I would want to say Mario World right away because I'm very biased, but outside that, all the games that I featured on my channel so far I found interesting to an extent. Like, I've always found Mario 1 really interesting. I've been deeply following the any percent grind since the very early Darbian days, before he kind of blew up and became mainstream in the speedrun community. I remember watching him trying to get a 457. But no, outside of that, there's some really cool stuff out there. I've definitely watched a wide range of stuff. Like if I had to name some random names, Void, I've really liked watching, doing Donkey Kong Country stuff. And maybe more popular names, Shift, Battle for Bikini Bottom. That's been really cool to see him just casually chop off. I shouldn't say casually, but you know, he's kind of slowly chipped down the 80% time over the years in that category. That's been really cool to watch. I could probably make an entire video just on different speedruns and people that I follow. So maybe that's something that I could also follow up some other time or in the comments if you have a more specific question about that. And it looks like Big Yoshi, I'm just gonna say, also asked a similar question, but they also asked like, what kind of games would you speedrun? So I guess I'll kind of take it on that. I'll take that part of the question, is what games would I speedrun that I haven't already? I mean, I kind of already answered that to an extent, but again, I've always been a half serious speedrunner. I really find random joke speedruns or really weird games to be really interesting. Like m&ms kart racing is not a game that you would typically think would be a prime speedrun suspect, you know? But I just think it's really cool to turn something really niche and really something that's not even thought about and bringing it into the spotlight. I mean, m&ms kart racing, ever since I started speedrunning it like years ago, it's gotten a lot of attention. Like even Ludwig, the really big Twitch/YouTube creator, actually started watching some of it on my stream, and he even brought it up on like a podcast. It's crazy that I got a really obscure Wii game that no one talks about really, besides how bad it is, and I got like even big creators to talk about it again, which is crazy. So I just think that's really fun. Undead Fury asks, is there a speedrun world record history video that you will never do? Either because it's already been done so many times in the past, or because of your lifelong hatred for the game. I don't think there's really a game that I would not do because I hate. Again, like I said before, I really like joke speedruns and, you know, random weird games. Really nothing's off limits for me. I mean, yesterday I literally played a Dora the Explorer game on the GameCube, so I don't really think I'm one to talk. But I think one solid game that I probably never will do is, I mean, you guys know that I've done the Lost Levels and I've done Mario Land, but I don't think I would ever do my own original Super Mario Bros. History, just because that's been done so much between like Summoning Salt and Bismuth. I'll let those guys do their own thing. I don't really want to hop on their territory. I mean, to an extent, I've already covered stuff that Salt kind of has. Like, you know, my Quest for Sub 1 Minute video kind of had an overlap with Salt's video, but I feel like I kind of had a complete unique twist, and also I modernized it and went into credits warp and all that too, so I guess it was different. But I feel like Mario 1 has just been tapped into so many times that I've just done so much on Mario 1. There's only so much you can do, really. To be fair, though, I probably will make another Mario 1 video at some point. There's one or two really interesting developments about Mario 1 that I do want to tackle, but I don't think I'll ever make a proper full history on the game, just because that side of it's been tackled so many times. So, yeah. Mabe Life asked, what's a game that you would never ever speedrun? I feel like that's similar to before, kind of similar to the previous question in a way. I mean, I guess to an extent, there's definitely certain types of games I would never speedrun. Like, I don't think I would ever speedrun, like, a Dark Souls kind of game or something like that, just because, like, those games are cool to watch, but that's just not a game that I can personally get into playing myself, or, you know. It's hard to explain, but there's just certain games like that I enjoy watching, but I just don't think I would enjoy playing or speedrunning myself. I feel like there's quite a difference between those two shadows. But in general, there's a lot of games that I would surprisingly speedrun that you probably think I wouldn't based off what I've played. So, Horse the asked, what game do you think has speedrun potential but gets overlooked? That's a good one. That's a good one. This is going to go hand in hand with what I've already said, but there's a lot of joke speedruns that I really think are surprisingly fun in a way that just don't get speedrun. And also, I guess if we're going into more unofficial territory, I also could say ROM hacks too. Again, I'm quite biased because I'm literally the speedrun moderator for Mario World ROM hacking, but I think ROM hacks in general bring a whole new life to a game, and I think there definitely is a decent speedrunning community for ROM hacks, and especially Mario ROM hacks, but I think not as many people think about speedrunning them as you would maybe think. So that's definitely something I would look into if like, for example, if you really like Mario 1 any percent, I'd look into some of Nifsky's other speedruns of some Mario ROM hacks. It kind of gives new life to a game that's already been done so much, so that's definitely something that I think should get more attention if it hasn't already. Horse the also asked, is there a console generation you prefer to watch speedruns of more than others, and is there a genre you prefer? In terms of genre, it should be kind of obvious, but definitely platformers. That's my bread and butter. I mean, Mario, that's just where I am. That's where I sit. Even a lot of joke speedruns I do generally have been platformers. Like, you know, for example, I can't believe it's the second time I'm mentioning the name in this video, but I've had some records in like some Dora the Explorer platformer games. Platformers is just something that it's just a genre that's always really stuck with me, and I will love till the day I die. In terms of console generation, I wouldn't really say there's a console generation I prefer. Maybe there's a console generation that I tend to watch more just because of what I like or what I play. Because I speedrun Super Mario World and I play a lot of its ROM hacks, I probably end up watching a lot of Super Nintendo stuff in general more. And also because I have a really deep connection with the Wii from my childhood, and I have a lot of Wii games that I collect, I probably watch a lot more Wii speedruns. But I wouldn't really say there's directly a console generation I prefer. It just happens to be what I end up watching or what I end up liking. Andrew asks, glad to see you make it to 10k. Still waiting on 100k. Thank you. They want to ask, have you seen a Zelda 2 speedrun, and what do you think of it? To be honest, I really can't think of the exact details of a speedrun, but I know that I definitely have. Maybe in the background, I don't think I've really focused on it, but I've definitely watched a couple people in the background, maybe on Twitch or something. Like, I'm pretty sure I've watched Alleycat do some Zelda 2 speedruns at some point. I hope that's true. I hope I'm not mixing that up. It's definitely a less appreciated title compared to the original, but it honestly seems like a pretty fun game. I haven't played the original Zelda. I probably should, but anyone that's interested in Zelda 1 should probably at least look at Zelda 2, because it's definitely not the same, but it seems pretty interesting. That's definitely something I'll say. Alright, that takes us to our final category for today, which is YouTube/content creation, kind of a bigger bubble of asking stuff about videos and the process and all that. Rolly McSplat asked, who are some of your biggest inspirations on YouTube, and besides other speedrun documentary channels, and any good channel recommendations? I mean, first off, I definitely do want to give some shoutouts to some other speedrun YouTubers, just because I feel like I need to. First off, probably the biggest shoutout I have to give out of anyone is It's Maximum. You probably know him for all the Red Ball stuff, the Flash games, all that. He's definitely been one of my, biggest, tightest connections in the speedrun content community. I'm definitely glad that I've gotten to talk to him and speak to him, and I've definitely went to him for advice many times in the past, and he's also helped me connect to a lot of other speedrun creators too. So I have to give a shout out to him. But no, there's a lot of other speedrun creators that I've gotten to know in some way or another, like the Rixer, Dr. Swellman, M Sushi, Lunatic J. There's a lot of like all those people. They're really awesome. I imagine at least a couple of them are probably watching this. I know at least some of them regularly watch my content. You know, we support each other. Yeah, no, going past that, my biggest inspirations on YouTube, period. I would definitely say my number one that I have to say of all time is Cinemassacre / The Angry Video Game Nerd. James Rolfe has been making content since I've been basically learning how to talk. He's been doing YouTube for so long, and he did stuff I'm pretty sure AVGN started before YouTube even existed, or at least the way it is today. And I've been watching his stuff for probably a solid decade now, and the fact that he's still making stuff to this day, and it's still consistently high quality, and he still has a consistent audience, and the fact that a lot of his catalog, not even just the Angry Video Game Nerd, but his general catalog is very rewatchable, and honestly, it inspired me a lot. A lot of my previous content before I did speedrun stuff is privated, but if any of you guys got to see it before I unlisted it, you definitely may see some inspirations in some sense. I did a lot of there was a little phase where I did kind of video game / media reviews, and some of that was definitely heavily inspired by that. Definitely my biggest inspiration by far. That doesn't even come close to anyone else. That's the first person that I instantly think of. But no, in general, there's definitely a lot of other bigger kind of gaming YouTubers that I've used to, and maybe even still watch. Some of them I don't watch as much, but you know, there's definitely some other big creators that kind of inspired me in some sense. Like, you know, there's Peanut Butter Gamer. Chadtronic isn't really fully video games, but Chadtronic's kind of a cool creator that I followed off and on. That's kind of inspired me. But no, and then outside that, just in terms of success and workflow and all that stuff, there's definitely some, I would say the other part of YouTube, there's two other parts of YouTube that I like to follow a lot, which is tech channels and kind of like music kind of channels. For example, during this past semester at college, a tech YouTuber that I was binging off and on, Mr. Who's the Boss, he has a decent following nowadays. He's grown a lot. I think I followed him like a year or two ago, and he's grown a lot since then. And just seeing that growth is pretty inspirational. Going to the music side, Hive Mind is a YouTube channel I've been watching a bunch, which they're really funny. I really recommend following them. Like, I think since I've started following them, their subscriber count has quadrupled. I don't even know the word. They've exploded like crazy, and I think they deserve it. They're really funny. So there's a couple different random YouTubers that you can go follow. But yeah, there's definitely a wide range, and I could probably go on for another hour of different random YouTubers. I didn't even think, in terms of gaming, another big inspiration, before I move on, definitely like Vinesauce, like the Vinesauce group of streamers, primarily Vinny and Joel, are two creators that I've been watching for so long. And actually, while I've been sick off and on this past week, I've been having Vinny on the background the entire time, like watching like his old streams and all that stuff, and that's definitely another inspiration for just some of my older gaming content. That a lot of it's private now, but that definitely inspired a lot of my content, and even to an extent some of my newer content. The bootleg game video that I made, I didn't like a lot of my introduction to some of those bootlegs were through those Vinesauce streamers. So a lot of that stuff, a lot of my original ideas and creativity and inspiration definitely stems from some of their stuff too. So yeah. Alright, Reese asked, what motivated your switch in focus from just generally speedrunning to doing full breakdowns and analysis? I mean, I've been speedrunning since 2015, so it's been 6 years now? That's weird to say. I started speedrunning when I was pretty young. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've been making videos in one way or another for nearly a decade now. I've always been interested in video creation and just that kind of stuff. I mean, even what I'm studying at college right now is digital media, like video production, that kind of stuff. So that's actually what I want to do for a living. But no, I mean, I've been speedrunning for a handful of years, and I think I kind of put two and two together. I've been making videos for a long time, and I want to get more serious about it, and I thought the perfect topic to do that with was speedrunning, because it made the most sense. Speedrunning is something that I've become so familiar with. I have an advantage compared to other people. I feel like I have more of an advantage compared to, some random, speedrun lurker who just watches streamers. I've actually speedrun for many years, so I definitely have an advantage in making that kind of content. During quarantine last year, I honestly kind of just wanted to up my content a bit, and that was the first thing that I thought of. I wanted to challenge myself, and I've just been doing that ever since. I've been challenging myself time and time again. Rico asks, where do you get your video ideas from? That's a good one. That's a good one. And actually, you're not the only one who asked that. Squid Senpai also asked the same question. There's a lot of different ways. Definitely my first few videos were just... even some of my newer videos too are just things that I've been interested in that I just finally want to make a video of, like bootleg game speedruns. I've known about bootleg games for so long now, and I thought it was just finally cool to put that together and actually use that knowledge in one of my videos. I thought that was cool to put that together. Definitely just my knowledge of speedrunning in general, just thinking of what I already know. But secondly, sometimes for my video ideas, I will just straight up scroll through speedrun.com and Twitch, and I'll just scroll through and just find different games that I've never seen before or I never thought about. And I'll just keep scrolling until I find something really interesting, and it just kind of clicks, just something that I've never thought about before. Like, for example, my inspiration for the blindfolded video, I was just randomly going around on Twitter and speedrun.com, and I noticed that I was following a couple people who've been doing blindfolded speedruns off and on, and I thought, hey, that's a really awesome video. But the third biggest one, and especially lately, definitely is recommendations from either viewers or people reaching out to me. Like, for example, I don't want to give away any details yet, but probably a video that will come out in hopefully the next month or two. Somebody went out and emailed me, and we ended up chatting on Discord, and we're now collabing on a video idea. It's a mix of people suggesting it in comments, or people reaching out to me directly, or just somebody saying something on my live stream, or even just, speedrun events happening. Some of my first few videos literally happened as a result of a world record happening. Like, for example, when Nifsky got the first 454, I had been sitting on the idea of a 454 video for months before that, and the second he got that record, I was like, hey, let's do it, let's put it together. So it's kind of a weird combination of scrolling around, suggestions, and just whatever is happening in speedrunning that, at the current time. Yeah, and speaking of, I do have a few comments about just video ideas. Like, oh god, I don't want to butcher this. Evanescent Soliloquy? I really hope I didn't pronounce that wrong. Would you do a video on the most humanly impossible task runs? Maybe. I definitely promise at some point that I will probably make a video more focusing on tool assisting. Probably the closest I've gotten so far is the credits warp video, where I used a lot of tasks and stuff. But I definitely at some point want to collaborate with taskers more, and make a more direct video featuring tasks. Because I actually had some people from the task videos community talk to me and reach out after that video. So it's definitely something that I definitely could do eventually, so that is a possible video idea. Mangura asked, would you do a video of some of the SMW categories? It looks like he's talking about some of the category extensions. Probably yes, I do have plans eventually to make a video or multiple videos on category extensions in different games, and maybe even just the concept of a category extension. There's multiple videos that can be made just from that idea, so that's definitely, yes, I will say yes, that probably will be a thing that I do at some point. Chief Zach asked, what video took the most effort to make? That's a good question. There's two that I can think of. The first one that I can think of is the quest for sub 1 minute. Honestly, that video could have been called the quest to make the video under an hour long, because I'm pretty sure the original runtime for that video was about an hour and 15 minutes, and I was able to trim it down to get it just under an hour, because I felt that looked a lot better on YouTube. Yeah, no, that video was like my first really serious deep project. I took a lot of time scrolling through old leaderboards and wikis, and I probably reached out to like at least a dozen people to ask different questions about specific tricks and time periods. Just all sorts of different things. That took a long time, and I'm pretty sure my video script is... I think that video script, if you combine the research and the text for the actual script, it's over 20 pages. Which I think to this day... I think that may be my longest video script if you count the research section. I could be wrong about that. The only other one that I can think is longer is the m&ms kart racing history, which was an April Fool's video. That's probably one of the most serious April Fool's videos ever. That's my longest video on this channel by far. And that was a way more ambitious project than I thought. I didn't think that I was gonna actually cover the entire history of the game and every little tidbit and every little, side corner and sidetrack. And what's crazy is that the game has so much information that, like I said before, I may actually make another video on it next year. I didn't think that such a joke kind of video would be my longest to make, but between compiling every single world record and every single tidbit and lining up the entire timeline, it was a lot. And obviously the editing section of it too. It just took such a long time. I think I first came up with that idea probably a couple weeks after the year started. So that video, obviously I wasn't working on it every day, but that video took 2 months off and on to make, which by far I think is the longest to take. Because even though my sub 1 minute video had more research to it, I think that got made in probably 5 weeks. So I think to this day the m&ms kart racing video is still my longest to make out of any project so far. And we'll see if that changes. I think I definitely want to keep challenging myself, so someday I probably will make something greater than that. But for now, those are my 2 biggest projects. And the last question for today, the one to wrap it up completely. Ultrapair asked, what would be your advice to somebody whose only mental block for creating content is learning how to edit videos competently from scratch? Ooh, that's a big question. The one thing that I can think of right away is that you shouldn't expect to learn and know everything right away. I know a lot of people that go into making content where they tell me, hey, I want to start making videos. They expect to be able to learn the entire process right away. They think they can make a summoning salt level kind of video first try. And I can tell you from experience, that is not gonna happen at all. I mean, I've been making relatively serious content for a year now, and I'm still learning how to adjust everything. I'm pretty sure every single video I make, I have made some new adjustment with audio or visuals or something. It's a process. That's what I'm gonna tell you, it's a process. Please don't give up just because you can't make a masterpiece right away. It's not gonna happen. It's not realistic. You know how many videos I've made over the past decade that are either privated or unlisted or deleted out of complete shame, or just, complete, embarrassment? I have a lot of really questionable, just really bad projects out there, and it's really like any other craft. It's something that you should casually learn. Again, there's things that I'm learning every single day. It's not something that you should be able to just throw together right away. It's not something that people can just magically do one day. It's really, all I'm going to tell you is that if you're really serious about it, don't give up. It's a grind. The more time you put into it, the more results you'll see out of it. You're not just going to get something overnight. And the thing is too, is don't rush it. Don't expect to get something amazing in a month. It may take a month. It may take a few months. It may take a year. Heck, I've been making different types of content for different amounts of time over years, but I've only been able to successfully hone what I want to do and hone my skills. It took multiple years to even hone some relatively successful level of video editing. So just take that for, a grain of salt. It's not going to happen overnight. That's all I'm going to say. So I hope that answered your question. Anyways, the runtime for this is a lot longer than I expected, and I don't know how many people are going to end up watching this, but I really appreciate all of you. It's been quite a wild ride. I have no clue what 2020 is going to present. If it's even the same level of what I saw this year, I'm ready for it. I'm really excited, and I honestly think 2022 will be an even bigger year. Hell, if I even reach 20,000 subscribers by the end of the next year, I'll be happy, but with how things are going, I think things may go a bit faster than that. So, really looking forward to it. I hope you guys enjoyed this entire video. Yeah, that's really it from me. This is Storster, Patrick, whatever you want to call me. All my links are in the description or everything. Also, something I want to very briefly announce is that I did make a second channel that I do want to make proper content on at some point. I'm just throwing it at the end of the video if you want to subscribe. It's literally just called Store. I'll put the link in the description. Don't expect anything right away or anything anything as consistent as what is on this channel, but if you want to support my other projects, then there you go. Thank you so much for watching, I really appreciate you guys. It's been quite a weird ride, that's all I'll say, and let's make 2022 a really good year. Thank you so much for watching.